Well, maybe we can, like we said, make that as part of the next hunt day.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
Go down there and we take whatever questions you got and ask them.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them. Before we even had this podcast, before it was even a thought.
That's where it all started.
We were there, and we both had 10 questions right off the top of our head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? Well, is this chill filter? All the things.
All the things.
And what does that mean? What does that mean to you? I don't know what that means to me. Well, what do you say? Oh, you already clapped. Well, who's for Chinese? So, I got that from the Batman cartoon a long time ago. Like, Joker just thought...
I was going to say, that sounds like something Joker would say.
Like, I don't know. He just threw...
The animated series, right?
The animated series,
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, yeah. He tied... I think it was Joker, but he tied Batman to the side of a giant quarter and flipped it. I don't think it was Two-Face. Maybe they were working together. I don't know, but flipped it off the side of a building, and he's got to figure out how to get himself out of this before it goes, either way,
right.
When it hits pavement. And he just flips the switch, and he's flying off into nothingness, and he's like, "Well, who's for Chinese?" I'm like, You just killed your arch nemesis, and now you're just like, you just want food. You're just ready to eat.
Crab Ragoon, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, girl. Yes. Absolutely. I think I'm ready with my notepad and all that stuff.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on the, I don't know what to say now. The whole dear listener thing. It's like,
they're still listening.
They are still listening. Welcome to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Right over here to your right is Mr. W2. How do you do, sir?
Doing good.
Excellent.
Weird day with the 82 degrees yesterday, and then today, wake up to 16.
Yeah, it was 16 in Raytown as well. I was dreading getting out of bed.
Did you get a dusting or anything out that way?
Yeah, we got dusting on the cars. We didn't get anything in the yards or on the roads, and I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I did notice through the plaza this morning, the Brush Creek was steamy, but it was not frozen. So obviously, even though with the temperature drop down far below zero or far below freezing, it still wasn't enough to freeze the creek.
Yeah. Freezing the creek.
The creek.
So if you're not familiar with Brush Creek here in Kansas City, us local yokels, we'll call it Flush Creek or Dead Hooker Creek. Kind of weird. It's kind of weird because sometimes...
on the time of year?
Depending on the time of
season.
Year. Is it Dead Hooker season already? Yeah, we'll just
Look at
find
the time.
Some unfortunate soul just, floating along, and it's awful. Please, people, don't kill your prostitutes. Anyway, so, family show. Today, we are going to try the West Bottoms Whiskey Company American Blended Malt Whiskey. Right here.
Yeah.
I gotta be very careful picking that up. It's a beautiful bottle, just like all other West Bottoms Whiskey Company fare. And
what's really cool about their labels...
I like it.
And we've talked about it in...
Not to steal your words.
No.
I like it. What else can you tell us about it?
Well, just in past episodes, we've talked about it, but what I love about their labels and everything is just all the subtleties. Mm-hmm. They all have the same standard elements, and then each one just has a little bit different. Like, for example, that maple finished rye had a silhouette of a maple leaf.
Yeah,
behind
back here in the background.
Everything. Yeah, behind Murdoch.
Yeah.
But
Murdoch is the guy with the metal lantern jaw here. The guy in the top hat.
And I bought the bottle. I think they still have some available, but when they first released this, I did not want to sleep on it like their first limited release of the Melbach finish one.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
We completely missed that one. So I did not want to miss this one or the single malt one. So literally, I think like the day after they announced it, I was down at the parlor picking it up.
Did they let you reserve it like
Nope.
Rieger's did?
No, I was actually that was actually the day that I was down picking up this lovely West Bottom Whiskey Company barrel.
Yes.
And I got that the same day. And so I've had it on the shelf for a little while. And I mean, yes, it has been cracked open. But I hadn't noticed until you pointed it out when you picked it up is it actually has some floaties in there. It is non-chill filtered, obviously.
Yep. And those little floaties, it's not going to bother me.
No,
I mean, if they were little squigglies and they were dancing around like mosquito larvae, yeah, I'd freak out. But, nothing like that it's not going to live in this.
Yeah.
But I think it's all pretty much suspended now, and it's living its best life.
So, yeah, I did not have a whole lot of information I was able to pull online on it, but just a little bit. As stated, this is from West Bottom Whiskey Company, which is down in the West Bottoms of downtown Kansas City. It is classified as a American whiskey. There is no age statement, and style is a blended malt whiskey. Comes in at 90 proof. And we've got this truly unique blend is a very special combination of our peated distiller's cut and a 4-year-old selected single malt whiskey. I guess it technically kind of does have a little bit of an age statement, but it's blended, so you can't.
Yeah, you can't trust
This complex whiskey will continue to surprise as you sip. This blended malt whiskey is the perfect intro to those exploring scotches with light smoke and intricate flavors.
It talks a little bit about those flavors here on the back here.
Yep. What's it got?
Woo! Nerves are going crazy. It says here, born from a desire to create an approachable American malt whiskey, this combination of our peated distiller's cut and selected American single malt whiskey offers a full palette of pepper, sweet nougat, summer grass, and marshmallow finish. Inspired by the immigrants who brought over their distilling, aging, and blending techniques, this malt whiskey is best served neat.
Well,
you
know what?
That's a coinky dink, because I think
we're gonna do it.
We feel that way about all of our whiskeys. At least it's not because we're manly men and men only drink whiskey neat. We don't need no stinking ice in our whiskey. No, we drink it that way so we get the best first impression, the best representation of what it is that these whiskeys, all of the scotches and bourbons that you see behind us, it lets the spirit do the talking.
Yeah.
And then from there we can figure out, hey, I smell the malt from here.
Yeah.
It's like
the malt
hoppy.
The malt and the little bit of a peatiness to it.
It's like a hoppy. It's like a hoppy beer all the way from here. Does it smell hoppy to you?
No, I smell the malt,
grassy,
but definitely not.
What is the thing that I always get confused on with? It'll like in the notes it'll say that it's a grassy note, or no, in the notes it says it's one thing, but for whatever reason my brain translates it on the nose to grass.
It's probably the malt. Or the barley.
Barley. That's it. See? Get yourself somebody that knows what you don't know that you know.
It's got just a nice subtle peaty, kind of a brininess to it that you get with
a briny peat.
Your Isla Scotches.
Yeah. But not as smoky, peaty, band-aidy, or whatever that some would call it, as an actual Scotch. This is right there.
Kind of a tarnished gold. Mm-hmm. Kind of a honey, maybe.
Yeah, I like it that it's just the tiniest bit cloudy.
Yeah. Yeah, and
makes you think you're getting dinner with your dessert.
You can really see the cloudiness when it's in the bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's pretty. It's got some legs. Did you say the proof on this?
It's 90 proof.
90 proof.
Double check myself. Yep.
All right.
45 APV.
All right, so we said a little bit of briny, a little bit of peat. Is that my hair, I hope? Peat.
Definitely honey.
Yeah, honey. Honey's like right there in your face. I said grassy slash
barley.
Fuck.
It's very subtle, but I'm also picking up a little bit of a brown sugar, kind of a sweetness.
Really?
Just a very subtle.
I'm getting kind of like a slight funk, like a funky cheese kind of thing. Funky cheese.
Hey, why not?
All right, let's get this on the palate. Wow. Huh. On the palate, you've got the heat, the peppery. It's not a. Okay. Okay. So, it's like
The oak hit you.
I'm just thinking about the heat, trying to describe that. So as you're holding it on the palate and swishing it around and trying to get a full impression of what it's got to offer, for me anyway. I'm trying to smack my microphone. For me anyway, it's like what I thought was the heat of the proof, the 90 proof. It was actually the peppery spice heat right there, because once you swallow it,
It's very peppery.
it's gone. It's like it's immediately gone.
Yep.
And then you're left with those kind of mysterious, grassy barley kind of smoky tones on the briny peat / smoke. Those peaty smoky tones on the palate. And then it's honey overarching all of that.
And I'm not really sure, the tasting notes, I don't have a whole lot of tasting notes, but that sweet nougat that it talks about, I'm not really sure where to kind of categorize and what to
Yeah, I'm not picking up on nougat.
put that to.
I mean, nougat to me is the inside of a Three Musketeers bar, which my mama used to love.
I still love.
Yeah, I still dig them. Like, if I dig them out of some kid's Halloween candy bag, I'm gonna eat it and be happy.
What's that candy bar? I think it's called Zero. That's kind of a inverse anti Three Musketeers bar. It's got a white nougat on the outside of it, and then a chocolatey center to it.
Huh.
I think it's called Zero.
Sounds like chaos to me.
Yeah, you're right. The heat on this really is
Vanished.
just a over peppery
Yeah.
kind of a flavor note.
It's like you got a lot going on with the nose, and the finish has a lot going for it, but the palate is very, very short, very narrow. Because it seems like, because we've had it before where the finish it's gone immediately. This is really unique because it's the palate that's gone almost immediately, but the finish is kind of long and grassy, briny.
Yeah, and I agree with kind of the write up in the assessment on this. If you're just getting into scotches or exploring different scotches, and kind of just tiptoeing your pinky toe into the world of smoky peaty scotches, don't start with the Port Charlotte.
Right.
This might be a great starting point because it's just a nice, subtle, well-rounded.
And this isn't even
flavor.
This isn't even a scotch.
Yeah, it's just a malt. It's a American blended malt whiskey.
Or is this what the United States would have to call a scotch? Because I think there's rules.
Kind of. It's according to the website, this is Kansas City's first peated malt whiskey.
Okay.
Which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm really curious, and they don't say. I'd be kind of curious to go down to the parlor and have a couple and see if we can get someone to say. But I'm really kind of curious as to where that 4-year selected single malt whiskey came from.
Yeah.
You know, my first thought was, did they pick that up from Rieger's? East Bottoms?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Or did they MGP it, or whatever?
Right. It could be MGP'd. Yeah, when you said that they were vague on their source, I immediately thought MGP.
Yep.
Which, in and of itself, it's not a bad thing.
No.
It's a lot of distilleries and blenders get that from there.
And honestly, if it was a big distillery, why wouldn't they put that on there? Mm-hmm. We've seen so many. For example, the Metallica's Black End, one of their latest offerings is a collaboration with Rabbit Hole.
Yeah, we saw that.
So we see the Rabbit Hole logo right there in the middle of their label.
And I was like, what the hell is this? What is that? And then you already knew the backstory. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw that up there at the Whiskey Snug. Yeah,
that was a good day. We here recently we got a chance to get out early on a Saturday morning, and we hit a handful of places. Started our morning breakfast off with some whiskey at the Snug in Weston.
Yep. Yeah, we started off with the Bib and Tucker.
Bib and Tucker.
Was it double cast?
Double charred.
Double charred. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, and
wasn't it like 80 proof or 82 proof or something like that?
It wasn't a high proof at all. It was like right there in the tavern strength kind of wheelhouse, whatever, bullpen, ballpark, parking lot,
whatever,
bat boy,
sports ball,
runner on first. Anyway, so this is very consistent across the whole palette. To me, it's got not to cut you off on the
no.
We were talking Bib and Tucker there for a little bit. Yeah, and we up there. Yeah, we'll have to do a little talking about our little
definitely
hunt day. Mm-hmm. It's like a field trip that involves whiskey and margarita pizza and a burger from hell. It was good though. Like as I was eating it, I thought there's nothing. This is really good burger. Like there was nothing wrong with it. We start getting in the truck, and I'm like, my head hurts. What the hell? Oh well, maybe it's the sun blaring directly in my eyes. And then we go to Bubbles. We're walking up and down. Because it was right around the corner. I'm walking up and down the aisles, and I'm thinking, my head hurts. What's going on here? Eventually we make it back to the house, and I'm like, oh, okay. I don't feel good at all. Gotta get home, and I'm in agony for a while, and eventually I work it all up. It's not pretty. Not pretty.
Sometimes that's the best way to move forward.
Oh, yeah. If I were able to just get it over with earlier in the day, I probably would have had, no headache / migraine to deal with. A lot less energy drain, the whole thing. Whatever. Did you already do your all your stuff?
I did.
Yeah, I've been talking, and
it's all right.
And I finished it, and it's got quite a bit to offer, I think.
I'm really kind of curious. Like I said, I picked this bottle up literally the day after they announced it and that it was available, and so I ran down and picked it up. Mm-hmm. And when I was down there, Cassandra was down there, and she had this, and she had a lot of great things to say about this. She had, at that point, she still had not had the single malt version, and so she said, yeah, I'll be curious to see what you guys think of that. What I'm kind of curious now that it's been out for a while, and why I think it'll make a great a hunt stop here in the near future, is go back down there and see what cocktails they've come up with that this would work really well in.
Mm-hmm. I would think that would go great in any Scotch style cocktail.
Proudly made in Kansas City, Missouri. Can't quite tell. I'm trying to figure out what this little thing in the watermark on the back end of it is.
I think that's a pot still, like a single pot still, like the old copper.
Yep, you're totally right. That is
It's got kind of the tulip bulb shape to it.
Good eye. But yeah, it's composite cork underneath this hardwood topper on there. It's got the little neck tape on there with the best served neat with the little action lines coming out of your glass. Whiskey ... neat. I agree. It's got their little monogram on the top of it. Monogram? Is that what we'd call that? Their west bottom.
Yeah, it's kind of a funky little.
It's kind of a key. It looks like kind of like a. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, it's like lattice that you put under your deck. So what we do is we take these 4 categories. We've got nose, palate, finish, bottle presentation, and we rate those 0 to 5. Add them all up, our ratings.
Gives us a total of 20.
Yeah, a maximum total of 20. Not that we've seen that yet. Been close. And then divide that by 2, and that's how we end up with our total score, our final score.
Yep. Our 0 to 10 rating.
0 to 10. But it all starts with a 0 to 5 on the nose. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 3 3/4.
Of course you would. Because I gave it a 4.
And undercut you.
Yeah. You always give it a little more critique. That's cool. It's dependable. It's a dependable critique. So that means you probably rated it lower on the palate than I did. And I rated it a 375 on the palate.
Oh, well, I gave it a 4 1/4 on the palate.
Mind blown. 4.25 it is. All right. Yeah, I gave it a 3 1/4 because for me, the palate was there.
Yeah.
But it was over before I knew it. Because once you swallowed, most of the experience that I usually get on the palate was gone in a flash, and I was just left immediately with the finish. And the finish brought it back to a 4 for me. How about you?
And maybe it's just because I've been dipping into the Port Charlotte and some other scotches lately, and so I've got a lot of peat smoke on the palate, and I've been digging that, and this felt like home.
Okay, all right,
So,
all right.
yeah. On the finish, I gave it a 4.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I gave it a 4 as well, because for me it was every bit as good as the nose. The nose had, we brought up we got here briny, a peaty smoke, honey, a grassy barley, a funky cheese, and then on the finish, it was still hitting. I already got the briny up here, whatever. On the finish, I got briny, grassy barley, honey. It had everything that the nose had, but it was palate form.
The thing
form.
thing I liked about the finish on this one is, and depending on what you're drinking, it can go either way. This I didn't feel like it had a overly long finish. When the finish was done, it was done, and you're ready to move on. Nothing really lingered about there. Sometimes, depending on what I'm drinking, like I said, a nice lingering finish is kind of nice. It kind of stays with you and kind of reminds you what you just had. This I appreciated because it gave me everything that I expected, everything that I wanted from the nose and the palate. But then when it was done, it was just done. And what's next?
Yeah. Yep. So how about bottle presentation?
I gave it a 4.
4.
Yeah.
I underscored it at 3 3/4, 375.
I thought about that, and then I was trying to think about, well, what did I give the other West Bottom offerings?
Right.
Because it's the same bottle, it's the same labels, it's just it's refreshed for this particular offering.
So I didn't remember what I gave the other ones. I didn't.
No.
I didn't cheat and look it up in the liquor cabinet on savortheburn.com. I just I just checked it out, but yeah, like you said, most of these labels, actually all of the labeling, is stamped kind of uniform, but the differences are going to be, of course, what it is, what's going on here in the background, the color of the border going around here. Do all of them have the neckband?
Yep, they sure do.
That one doesn't.
Well, that one's wax dipped.
That one's wax dipped.
That is the exception.
Yeah, that one might be a 4 because it's wax dipped.
What I appreciate about this, and I think it's worth mentioning, just because we know a lot of Casey Whiskey Guild members that participate in this, but West Bottom has people from the community come in and help bottle their products, whatever, stick the labels on there. Every bottle seems to have a nice straight label. It's laid correctly. It's done well, and
that one's a little crooked.
Not naming any names, but we've had a couple that we've looked at, and
we have.
The labels have been off to the side, little tipping to one side, but still drinks the same. But it's just that little extra care.
It really, who doesn't get a little tip to one side?
I mean,
when you've had a couple of whiskey trust fall. So bottle presentation, I gave it a 3 3/4. What did you give it?
I gave it a 4.
You gave it a 4. Okay. So that brings me to my final score of 7 3/4.
Mine ended up at a nice even 8.
8 even. Very cool. Very cool. Let's see what you brought up, the Kansas City Whiskey Guild, and since posting it, I did not see what it was. That was our friend Corey Stout. He got himself a new tattoo.
I saw that.
He mentioned me in a comment. Oh, kissy face. It's not weird at all. Kansas City Whiskey Guild. Oh, wow. I did get some comments on here. Well, I guess these comments you got to take in consideration that there were 3 bottles in that picture. There was the American blended malt, and then the American single malt, and the Truman Reserve up there. Yep. Let's see here. Griffin says, love the West Bottoms malts, especially the single malt. Just wish they hadn't priced it so high.
Girl.
Wow.
Same.
Adam's bringing some heat on that Truman Reserve. Nancy says, love the West Bottoms. So good. Matthew says, oh, snap. Yes, I have tried all of West Bottoms Whiskey Company except for the single malt. That one back there. But if it's like the others, then I would bet it's pretty good also. You'll have to let me know what you think. Love making my Sazerac with their rye. Super tasty. Sazerac.
It's a cocktail.
Oh, I thought Sazerac was
it is
like a Sazerac rye.
But there's also a cocktail
bottle
called a Sazerac.
Oh, okay.
We have not made it on the podcast yet. We'll have to do
I've been saying that wrong. Not Sazerac. Sazerac. Okay. Words. The English language. You'd think I'd learn how to talk about it. Let's see here. Benjamin Moore. Oh, cool. He says, I've tried the West Bottoms a couple of times. Glasses, sunglasses, whatever. Thanks for the support, sir. I'm guessing he's part of the West Bottoms whiskey family. Benjamin Moore. I think I've seen him in their socials. He's a tour guide. Oh. He's the tour guide there at West Bottoms Whiskey. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Thank you for whatever. Anyway, so I also posted it in the Whiskey Tribe.
Whiskey Tribe.
Mark says, okay, so what I said when I posted these things, trying some whiskeys tonight. A couple from West Bottoms Whiskey and a Truman Reserve. Anybody here had these? Thoughts? Mark says, no. But would love some feedback on the single malt. So, yeah, we'll get to that, Mark. Give us a damn minute. We'll get to it. Yeah, so as far as the West Bottoms Whiskey Company American Blended single malt, I would say it's a very consistent sipper across the palate. great neat, and I think it'd be great a great candidate for a cocktail.
Absolutely.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I like it.
Yes, sir, you do.
Yeah, and it's again, it's not a Scotch, but it's just the right amount of smokiness.
It might not be a Scotch because we here in the States we can't legally call it a Scotch.
Well, true.
But who knows where they got their mystery source spirits. So maybe that's what gave it the smoky peatiness.
No.
Because there's somebody somewhere that peated the shit out of their stuff, and then they just blended theirs with it. Who knows? So if you're looking for a smoky, smoky peaty, Kansas City based company whiskey, look no further than West Bottoms Whiskey Company and their American blended single malt. We enjoyed it. I mean, I gave it a 7 3/4. Mr. W2 gave it a 8.0. If there's any more information you want to know about it, go to savortheburn.com/liquor cabinet.
Real quick, pick up your glass.
Oh, wow.
Caramel presented itself. Caramel was nowhere on the nose.
Yeah.
Caramel was nowhere on the palate or finish. But my empty Glencairn glass.
Yes.
I
Look for those at savortheburn.com/shop. Scroll down, you'll see our Amazon link.
I think caramel presented itself after the fact. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, smoky.
It's kind of a smoked caramel kind of a.
Yeah. I just wrote here, empty glass note, caramel and smoke. Nice. Yeah, so if you want to learn more about it, definitely go to savortheburn.com and click on the liquor cabinet and scroll down. Maybe click, what is it? All? View all.
No.
And
Yep.
you'll see it. You'll see a picture of it with a little, glass next to it. Whoops. And and we'll be able to, you'll, in that description, you'll find a link that takes you straight to West Bottoms Whiskey Company website, and you can check out not just this, but everything they have to offer, including store hours and directions. If you're not from here and you want to visit, definitely, I would definitely suggest you check out the West Bottoms Whiskey Company. We've had great memories there. Everybody that works there has been top notch, quality people. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
And like you mentioned, that's where it all kind of started for us. That's where the light bulb went.
Yeah, Burn the Gates photo day. We find ourselves looking for a place to have a cocktail afterwards, and W2's like, there's a distillery, not too far from here. Maybe we could go check that out. West Bottoms Whiskey Company. I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. So most of the band goes, including Chandler, the fifth Beatle, the sixth
photog,
the photog. He was the one that took those fantastic photos of us. And we get there. We, of course, I have to try it neat before I have it in a cocktail. But I went ahead and ordered my neat and a cocktail while I was at it, and that was hands down at that point in time the best old fashioned I had ever had.
Yeah.
And neat. It was very expressive. Had a lot to offer. And then I even ordered what is the La Petite Mort?
Yeah, right.
I think it was.
Yeah,
with like
the slow death.
That slow death, yeah, with a little, the little death.
A little death.
Little death, with a tiny little, rose bud in there, just floating along. And I'm like, this looks classy as fuck. And it was so good. Pinkies up, bitches. And we sat there, we talked, we had good conversation. There were strangers coming and going, and of course I couldn't leave them alone, and they had to get cocktails, and they had to try it neat. And,
you gotta try this.
hey, have you tried this? Look at it. Look at this picture I took of it. You gotta try it. And so, I walked out of there with a pretty good tab. And I bought it, not this, but the, do you have a bottle of the original?
It's somewhere.
I got a bottle of the original whiskey, and I think I got you a bottle too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I just joined the band. I'm already giving things. I'm a gift giver. It's my love language. Anyway, so, yeah, we enjoyed this. If you're looking for something that's Scotch-esque, but technically not a Scotch, check it out.
Yeah.
I seriously doubt you will have any complaints. We don't have any. Do you have any complaints?
No
I
complaints.
don't either. Don't be afraid of the sediment. You know, if you pick up a whiskey or a bourbon or a scotch and you see it's got a little bit of a funky shit going on down there at the bottom, don't worry about it.
It's supposed to be there.
It's supposed to be there. Just like apple cider vinegar. If it's not cloudy, if it doesn't have the mother down there at the bottom, get rid of it. You don't want that clear shit. So, go get yourself a bottle right now. But until then, no matter who you are, what you're drinking, who you're drinking it with, and where you're drinking it, never forget. Keep
on burning.